Hello, hello, and welcome along to episode 19. Well, it doesn't feel like 19 episodes, does it? Of Soulforged. Today I have playing with me Jamal.
Hey guys, Jamal here. I'll be playing Gelthek Stonebreaker.
We've got Jay.
Hi, Jay. Playing Kai.
I've got Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh. I will be playing Luca Wicks, the Drake Warden. I don't know what's funny. I will be playing Luca Wicks, the Drake Warden Ranger, and his BFFL, Vero.
I have Laura.
Hi, I'm Alora. I'm playing Karina Braxton.
And I've got Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I am playing Winona Barrelite.
I've just realised in the GIF I've forgotten to update the bracket levels for Kai and for Winona. So they're level 10, but they've got 6 levels in one thing and 1 in the other. it's a bit of a brain break at that one.
Level.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's been a little while since we had a session, so let's recap and remind ourselves of where we were and where we've been. A long time ago, you were sent to escort Verity and his entourage to the Mountain Kingdom, to Jahamp. He was to marry Princess Katrikan, the younger daughter of the King Eord of the Mountains. She had an older brother who was the heir to the Mountain Kingdom throne, or who was sacrifice in waiting, I suppose, as they would call it. And indeed, he was sacrificed. He was sacrificed. As when you were there, somehow, miraculously, while you were the only people in the room, Rurisk died of poison. Many fingers were pointed, many questions were asked, but nobody was truly blamed, and Mana Kingdom King seemed oddly willing to sweep it all under the table. As such, the wedding with Verity and Katrikan went ahead, and at the wedding, Regal proposed a toast, drank a drink, and dropped dead on the floor, much to everybody's delight. Though we've had an inkling that perhaps all was not as it is thought. There was an earlier moment where discretion, the assassin's king, the king's assassin, that's the one, and older brother, had a strange cloak that allowed him to disguise himself completely as someone else, even in death. And when Regal's body died, it began to burn up from the outside in, or inside out, I'm not really sure. But it rendered his figure, his features undiscernible. As such, we think that the corpse you got was Discretion's and that Regal is alive, but we're not 100% certain. Nevertheless, we returned back to the city of Valaris and reported back to the king, and I believe that is where we left off. Is that correct? Winona waiting invisibly on the ceiling for the next couple of weeks. To be a fly on the wall.
That is not exactly how it's going, but pretty much.
To be a fly on the wall in a conversation.
Yes, I'm keeping an eye out for when those princes get here, and I want to be in the room when they confront
So the
their
Prince's
daddy.
chivalry, and King-in-Waiting chivalry, and his younger brother Prince Verity are to return to the Mountain King, and Lady Grace is probably with them somewhere.
Oh yeah, her too.
Does anyone remember what we told the king? Because I know that we spoke to him briefly before the end of last session.
You told him his brother was dead.
And that was it.
You told him that Regal died, and he kind of acknowledged that that is what happened. You told him that Rurisk died, and he acknowledged that that is what had happened. And you told him that the wedding went fine. He was very intrigued or interested as to Verity's happiness with the wedding. Which, given that everybody was dropping dead beside him, he was kind of okay with an arranged marriage after a while. It seemed like the least of many evils. So, you've got sort of 8 to 10 days to wait, roughly. You're not 100% sure. Before the princes arrive back. So I will come to each of you in turn and ask what you would do in that downtime. And I think we will start with Winona.
Sure. What? How many days did you say it was just now?
8 to 10 days.
10 days. All right.
And you don't have to have anything major that you're doing. Like, by all means, if you just want to, spend it down the tavern,
Well-
I guess.
Okay. Actually, there's something I've been wanting to do with Karina. I was curious about that incredible book you had. And I was
Oh.
wondering if we could, try to maybe mess with it a bit. That one that you can only use once every 100 years, is that right?
Oh, that one.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anything I could do to help you make that happen. I would peruse it.
McKenna, can I just confirm how many levels you have in Artificer?
2.
Just while you're saying that. Cool. What exactly are you hoping to attempt? I mean, obviously, I know what we want to achieve, but what are we hoping to attempt?
Yeah.
Like, how are we attempting?
I guess, gosh. How? Oh no, I want to trick the book.
I mean, I have a thought.
Oh,
If I
please. You probably
roll
have
back-
a better idea.
If I roll back the clock on the book to before I used it
Ooh.
and gave it to Winona.
Wait a minute.
And how exactly would you be attempting that? Could you, do you have a display option for that?
Let me see.
You might have to open the item itself, and that's... Oh, no, there we go. Okay, this intricate silver timepiece displays the current time. Yes. Expend 3 charges to touch an object and wind the clock's hands backwards or forwards, changing the timer of the object. You cannot bring it back to when it was a sentient or living object. It can be used to rewind time for the object to the point where it is in better condition or better maintained, or before it was painted or covered.
Yeah, I could also forward it 100 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to work, I'll tell you that for free. Because it's not a case of the book having waited 100 years, it's a case of the world having waited 100 years, right?
Oh.
In that sense. Because the ambient magic needs to refill. I'm just very aware that if I allow this to happen, then suddenly... Can I rewind my wand that's out of charges? Do you know what I mean? Like...
Yes.
Because it's not just rewinding it, is it? I mean, you can return it to the state it was in, but it's not going to put the magic back in the book. I think that's really the way we've got to look at it, because otherwise there's some really...
Yeah, otherwise we'll both have 30 intelligence in no time.
Well, yes, there is that as well, right? Not only will it allow you
That
to
would be
continually reuse it every day, it's also going to allow you to do all sorts of silly shit. So I think we will say that is probably not going to be possible.
Well, that's still some important, what's the word I'm looking for? Learning for Winona's magical items studies.
Yeah, I do not think that this is something that would be within Winona's grasp of replicating either. It's not really a magical... I mean, it's not really a tinkered item. If you like, it's much more a, it's pure magic, really. So,
Well,
yeah, I'm afraid
I
I'm gonna
tried
shoot
my
that
best.
one down, but it did only take you a
and
couple
I
of
dust
days.
my hands.
Are you spending the remaining 80 days drinking your sorrows away with a candle?
No. I also wanted to, first of all, where is Jenkins at?
Jenkins is...
I guess I want to check how he's doing, if he's in this city. I don't remember where he is.
I think he was on an island.
No, Jenkins was... Yes. Kind of. No, he was originally on an island. If you remember, he goes on whichever ship Karina doesn't. When the Rurisk and the Regal are released to sea, which is in like 2 months. So at the moment, he probably is at Near Island, but he is being recalled. So he will turn up perhaps a couple of days after you guys did, I guess. 4 or 5.
Oh boy. Yeah, I guess I want to check on him and see if he's learned any new spells or gained any confidence in himself?
Yeah, so he's become very accomplished at sending. Almost all
Wow.
his spell slots get used on sending every day.
Badass.
He has mechanically progressed all the way to level 6.
What?
Mm.
Wasn't he like level 1?
No. He was level 4. If you remember, the problem was he had rolled hit points and a constitution of like 7, and yeah, I mean, even at level fixed hit points. Sorry, even at level 6, he has 14 hit points.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is he's just got no HP. He's a learned fellow now. As I said, he's become very accomplished with sending. It is his primary spell. Obviously, he spends the majority of his time communicating from the island back to the Port Mage, whose name currently escapes me.
Jera.
Jera?
Jera, yes. I remember. It is confusing for that reason. So he spends a lot of time communicating back and forth with them. Other than that, he has learned a couple of new cool spells. He has Leon's Tiny Hut.
Awesome.
Which he loves. But his favorite spell, other than sending, is Hypnotic Pattern.
Mm.
Oh.
That's a good one.
That
Especially
is a
when you're
good
trying
spell.
to confuse people who are coming in to see.
Okay, Jenkins.
Yeah, he's becoming somewhat minorly useful.
I'm
He's very
impressed.
proud of that. Unfortunately, the 14-year-old Dirk has kept up with him in learning, which he's a little sad about, but you know, whatever.
Dirk is also level 6.
Dirk is level 5, but obviously has access.
Uh-oh,
to the same spell
Jenkins.
slots. Has access to the same spell slots.
Children learn quicker.
Yes, this
That's
is the problem,
true.
right? This is the problem.
Unfair advantage.
Well, Dirk also had some natural ability, whereas Jenkins spent the first, 35 years of his life just reading about stuff and casting cantrips, right?
Jenkins. Well, I'm glad he's doing well.
Right.
Seems
I mean,
to be
you're
getting
going to
his
have to
act
coordinate
together.
with him quite consistently when he is on the.
Exactly.
He is on the Rurisk or Regal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well. Oh, one more thing.
Mhm.
Is Starling gonna come with us?
What? On a boat?
Yeah.
No.
She doesn't swim?
She doesn't boat. She's like, yeah, there's, tales of warships are not glamorous.
That's true. We're gonna be on there for like a year.
Well, you guys will keep coming back into dock, right? On a regular basis to restock and stuff. She may come on the occasional trip, but she's going to be present at the dock to sing the song of their release, to write a song up. Things like that. She has a career to
Okay.
pursue. She has to pay the bills.
Oh, that's very interesting. She's like a reporter type, is that right?
Well, okay, so you've got to remember
She's a
that
busybody.
in this world, minstrels and bards are exactly that, right? They are what hands the news on to most people. The majority of people in this world are illiterate, so they can't read. So you can't just post posters and news, right? So the way that news gets delivered to the townsfolk is via the town criers and via the minstrels who pass on the messages from tavern to tavern and town to town, and it's the town criers who will then repeat the tales of the travelling minstrels the following morning. And town criers are in their own way minstrels, right? And bards. Yeah, I mean, you've got to remember as well, minstrels are also, there must be one present for the signing of official documents, for marriages, for annulments.
She's a notary?
Well, all minstrels are. I mean, Starling's probably progressed a little bit above just witnessing
Fantastic.
weddings and divorces and stuff, but it's an important part, of a minstrel's career is remembering all sorts of things: the bloodlines, the births, the deaths, the marriages.
So she's
The
good
way
with
that information
paperwork.
gets passed down. Yeah, they're historians. Well, it's all in their head. Starling is literate, but most bards are not.
Fantastic. I would like to hire her for the agency.
Oh yeah,
To solve minor mysteries while I'm away, because I feel like I've been
she's got nothing
neglecting.
better to do.
And you said she's good at
Absolutely.
paperwork.
She's
She can
excellent
be
at
the
that.
reception. Yeah, and you just said she needs money. So yeah, I would like to offer her a
Okay.
salary.
She is a busybody. She likes
Perfect. I need someone nosy who's gonna get the scoop on what's going on around
Okay.
town.
Her living costs are approximately 15 gold a week.
I can afford that.
She lives a life of luxury.
As long as she feeds the cat.
She'll feed mistress, I'm sure. So is Starling hired, books tinkered with, and Jenkins caught up with. Winona seems pretty time-filled. What's Galthak been up to?
Right, there's a few things I would have wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Since I cannot take any time to like do anything with my armor, since it's all magical as fuck, and I can't really blacksmith and prove anything magical as such.
It.
Yeah,
Put the brains to that.
I can polish it. Yeah. What about So I'd like to take some time to create some more javelins, sort of just like craft some stuff for that.
Yep.
That'd
That'd
be the main thing.
Pretty simplistic. It's a pretty simplistic process. You can make yourself as many as you need. I'm sure the army will have some to spare if you need any extras.
Right. Yeah. I'll bump up a few javelins then. But the main thing I would be looking to do is wondering what the hell's going on with my security business.
Not a huge amount, to be honest. There's so much work that there's little time for progress. There are so many, just a noble who's traveling from one village to another, from one town to another. People who want to visit their friends who may or may not have witnessed any raids over the previous year, very cautious. And so people are hiring security, if you want to call it that. But they're hiring guards just to travel down the road. There's a lot of
So business for the company should be booming.
Yeah, very much so. But it's just there's not necessarily an increase or an expansion because you guys are just so busy, just continuously doing work.
Oh, of course.
Nobody's on hire.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Good to know that it's still going strong at the very least. So I sort of wonder how profitable have they been then in this sort of time.
You probably as a company.
Not that I'll be looking to take any money out of it, but
you probably as a company generated 200 or 300 gold.
that's pretty
It's
decent.
quite a lot in this world, if you remember. I think most of you probably have about 300 to 400. Right? No.
Yeah.
Am I in the wrong
Are
campaign?
you crazy?
I'm in the
We
wrong
are heroes of the
campaign,
realm. We are rich.
Oh my god. We have
I-
not been that destitute in years.
Both. It's because I've got Karina's sheet up, and she.
Yeah,
doesn't seem to have
I'm
any
poor
gold.
because I spend a lot of money to do spells.
Times everything that I've said by 10. So Starling will cost 150 gold a week.
Wow.
She's expensive. She lives a life of luxury.
Alright.
She's in the Queen's favor as well.
Alright, we'll see.
And you'll probably generate 3,000 to 4,000, not 300 to 400.
It's pretty decent.
Damn, Galthak.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm in Baldania mode with reduced gold process. You didn't. Over 4 months, you managed to write 2 spells into your spellbook, effectively in gold.
Well, in that case, one thing I would like to take the time to, since I'm actually back enough to administrate some duties, I'd like to invest some of that money into sort of expanding the company and interviewing, hiring some more people, just basically giving myself potential for more money in future by expansion.
You're going to find that incredibly difficult in these times, mostly because everybody who can fight is either already in employ or is already, is guarding a town, is being a soldier. This is a time of martial air, right? So these fighty types are all making their money, unless you want to. No, they wouldn't even make any sense. Yeah, it's very difficult to find anyone else who is capable of fighting. And a lot of your men will have been tempted by the tales of war and been interested in fighting back. You've lost a couple signing up to the ships. To the Rurisk and Regal.
So business is booming and demands as high as ever, but there's a total lack of people.
Exactly. Yeah, you're short-staffed.
In that case,
Tough life.
Since it's about a week of downtime, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
In
when
that
Ona
case,
can build you a metal version of your of your soldiers.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Automate them.
Oh, that'd be
That's it.
fucking excellent.
No,
Winona could make
it
so
was-
much money.
Yeah, she might be able to make one in like the next few months. It's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah, but you know, having an extra pair of hands, especially one that you don't need to pay,
Yeah.
that's very profitable.
Capitalist.
But
On the
yeah,
other hand, since it's a week, any sort of shorter-term jobs that are specifically just in the area and not going outside the area elsewhere, I'd like to sort of do that to get a little bit of extra income.
yeah, go ahead and add yourself a couple of 100 gold. I'm assuming that you're going to spend some money on
200-300 gold.
Yeah, because I mean that's including all of the money that you've spent on the materials for your javelins and whatnot.
Sure.
And reinvesting. So yeah. And while you're doing all of that, what's Kai been up to? Just before I ask what Kai is up to, let me tell Kai what is up. I will tell you that your mini mental is now a little mental, I guess. It will generate itself a bit of size. Your baby water element is approximately 2 feet tall.
Oh,
Yay.
almost
It
as tall
is,
as me.
it is sort of the equivalent of a 10-year-old child in our world. Right? It's still a kid, but it's a growing kid.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What have you been up to?
Yeah, aside from spending time raising my child, I would be kind of outside of the city near the sea a lot. Having spent time kind of like in the mountain region around people who don't really like kind of see me as level has kind of made me miss home a lot. And so it's a lot of spending time by the sea, kind of for a long look,
Mm-hmm.
kind of missing home.
Giving your Moja swimming lessons, yeah?
Yeah.
Because all water elementals need that. I believe the step in terms of your character, its character sheet is from mini mental to minor water elemental. I should give it about 13, 15 HP, something like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously the city is built onto the docks, so you can go down to like the town, and then from there go down to the sea proper, and then walk the beach away from the town. Does Kai sort of go into the sea, or is it is this a beach affair?
It's a bit of both. It's in the water when training with Yamoja, but like when lamenting about home, it's on the beach.
Right, yeah. A lot of sad posing looking out at the sea. Love that. Maybe somebody will paint you while you're not watching. Yeah, I think as well, obviously, Yamoja's abilities will advance in terms of is now capable of communicating basic needs. Even full-grown water elementals aren't really great at conversation. They're not known for their chattiness, but they are known for their sort of emotiveness. So what you get is a lot of basic needs communicated alongside physical manifestations of emotions. So Yamoja would have the ability to sort of turn himself into a little whirlpool, or into sort of a series of waves, or a relaxed feel over the skin, like the water is rippling. Not, he doesn't actually turn into a whirlpool. But yeah, it's sort of demonstrating emotions like that, and quite frankly, not behaving all that well. Kids are a pain in the ass. And yeah, as you are chilling down there, what's Luca been up to?
So he will of course finish up anything he needs to with Winona and teaching her Draconic,
Yep.
getting those last pronunciations correct, and making sure she's rolling that tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she does
I'll be
officially now
finishing
have
that.
the language, although
Yes.
Vero thinks her pronunciation is horrific. But he's just
Yes.
a dick.
Oh, Vero.
Sure. Yeah. And in the meantime, I will be going to visit my dad, who's getting on now. And because he lives out in the woods, just visiting him and seeing how he's doing, seeing how I can help. And then also, I'm so busy. Also, getting used. Well, not getting used to, but figuring out the other elements with Vera and what he can and can't do. And how that kind of manifests with Luca's magic as well, and kind of going through that with him.
Mm-hmm. Yep, makes sense. Is Vero going to attempt all of the elements available in this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so that when we then go off, he's then comfortable. Because like when he switched to ice, it was a bit of a dramatic change for him. Especially because like his body, like with some of them, he gets bulkier and stuff. So, needs to get used to that.
Does he have an idea of what he might use while you're on a boat?
Funny you should. Yeah. In fact, could I have a token for this, please? He will. When we set sail again, let me get the picture. He will officially be a red fire dragon as seen in picture given.
Oh, Vero, glow up.
Oh yes, honey.
Info Vero becomes completely evil.
No.
Vero's BBEG. You guys just don't know yet.
It's just red dragon things,
Yeah.
Just red dragon things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. And my second question is: does he have a favorite form?
He still prefers lightning, and that's like his base. It's what he's been for the longest. But he is also very much like power, ultimate power. He's very much like that. So he doesn't mind switching and stuff. But he's more comfortable being in lightning. But that again could just be because he's spent the most time in that form.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Also, fire is great with ships, of course.
Of course.
Please do bear in mind that there is a level of care that needs to be taken with your own ship.
Of course. He will only be throwing fireballs at enemy ships.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, well, I figured that, but yeah.
Well, then what else did you mean?
Just bear in mind that it can spread, especially if ships are close together.
Oh, yeah, but I hope that we're not ramming into other boats. Hopefully.
Don't like that reaction.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I wonder what will happen.
Very telling.
With Vero elementally trained, your father seemed to. We come to Karina.
I'm going to very politely dismiss the tutor that discretion hired.
Okay. How do you go about that?
Services are no longer required.
Okay. It will take about a day before a visitor comes to see you. You know this man well. It is Riddle. Sort of on the door.
And this time I have also arcane locked several doors.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. That's another thing that I was going to do. I will open the door.
Yep. Riddle sort of greets you and, hey, it's been a while. I hope you're doing well.
Well enough.
It falls to me to take on the duties of discretion now that he has departed. I was ever his apprentice. I can't help but notice that you took issue with tutor that was available for young Kepit. Was there a problem?
Just decided he wasn't a good fit.
I'm not sure how much that decision is yours, Karina.
I'm not sure how it's any decision of yours either.
No, it isn't mine at all. But I'm not sure how much longer we can keep the boy a secret. His father knows of his existence.
And what father would that be?
I see. I thought you knew. No? The Lady Patience, who is Prince Chivalry's wife, if you remember, has had a lot of difficulty conceiving. They've been married for almost 6 years. No child has come forth. A child would be a blow to the woman. It would prove that the problem is not with her husband. We must be careful how we handle this. The child should be educated in the ways of the court, if nothing else.
At the moment, the court is not safe for any child of the royal
That is
family.
as true as it's ever been. I'm sure you'll keep the boy safe, but I'm pretty sure that Chivalry knows of the boy's existence. But if the boy was acknowledged, there is no telling how Chivalry would act. He does what's right, regardless of the consequences, and sometimes his idea of what's right is often simply what is hardest. We must handle it delicately. Who will educate the boy?
Pardon?
Who will educate the boy?
He has other tutors.
Make sure his education is befitting of a prince. Or he could be that one day. But we hope he will not.
He can make his own decision at that time. There's no training that he requires. A man of the people could be a better prince than anybody brought up under a tutor like that.
Perhaps. I'll trust you with it for now. And sort of nods, and you can see him weighing it up. It's clear that at least, I mean, he probably would tell you as well, that King Just has no knowledge of the boy's existence.
Let's keep it that way.
For now.
I will not deny him his heritage.
I'm
But
not
right
sure
now,
anybody
there's
would
too
want
much-
to claim that heritage. But I have a duty
Exactly.
to the king. At some point, I'll have to do it.
Do me the courtesy of coming to me first.
Of course, but I cannot speak for Chivalry. Right now, I imagine it's a secret he wishes kept. There's no telling with that man.
I have no ill will against Chivalry. If he wishes to know the boy, he may.
Very well. I shall let him know when he arrives home. Which is about in 10 days. Look after yourself. He heads off and leaves you to fill your 10 days. What are you doing? Apart from dismissing people's tutors. Don't like that
German
teach-
Shepherd.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Is that the boy's new defender?
Companion and defender. But I would also hire, if Galthax men can spare any time, to periodically do a walk by of the house. Just.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Is that? Oh, good. Is that what you were looking to hire?
Not exactly.
I'd search dog into my tokens, and this is what came up.
Considering how
trustworthy.
busy my men would,
It's the leg warmers
Considering-
that I'm done with.
considering how busy my men would be, I don't know how much dedicated assistance they would be able to provide, but I definitely at least try to make sure that there's at least some provision given for that, as much as they can spare.
kinda like
I
a
mean, I would
neighborhood
cover
watch
I would
kinda
cover
deal.
some of it myself as well if need be.
Yep.
But it cannot, as you say, like a walk past to check, that can be done, but a dedicated security detail, considering,
I mean, it's a
Current
man or
times.
two, right?
yeah,
It is a prince. It's probably more important than anybody else that's being.
that's also very true. So, yeah, I'd definitely divert resources for that. That's for sure. It's
So, with a man from Gelvax's contingent and a woofer, Kepit will be extremely pleased with the new dog, and will ask if he can name it.
Absolutely.
Roll me a D100. I have 10 names.
OMG.
91.
91. The most recent of the dogs. That will be Smithy.
Aww.
Oh.
Named after the forge or anvil, because his heart is strong and is a forge that can be where the bond can be forged, can be sort of created upon. Yes. Smithy gets stabbed in the books, but we'll try and avoid that in our story.
Oh no!
Yeah, they have a mental bond, and then
We
suddenly,
can't let this happen.
Yeah, Fitz is away and
Let's,
dog dead.
let's not have that happen.
That won't happen this time. Don't worry.
Isn't Smithy the gay pirate in Peter Pan? The one
Mr.
with the
Smee?
glasses.
I don't know,
Mr.
but he
Smee.
is James Corden in.
Never mind, it's that. Never mind, it's that guy. No, I meant the cartoon.
Yeah, he's also James Corden in Gavin.
Yeah, no,
Stacey.
it
It's
is.
much more important.
Yeah, it is Mr. Smee. Sorry, my bad.
Anyway, we are tangentificated. Smitty the dog will become Kepit's new best friend. And Karina, how much time do you spend with Kepit?
Oh, pretty much whatever time that I'm not securing the household.
Okay. You will note that after giving him the dog, they seem to forge a very immediate bond. Almost like they've got a preternatural understanding of each other.
OMG.
Like something I've seen before?
My memory of the campaign is not exceptional. I'm not sure if you've seen it before. if I'm
We have
really
met
honest.
witted before, or
Have
at
you met them
least-
with animals? Have you seen them with their animals, like out? Because they were quite secretive. The way that you met, weren't they?
When we were with those like smugglers, that guy
Yeah.
revealed himself to us. Didn't he have a ferret or something?
He did have a ferret called Slink.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely seems to have an unnaturally good bond with the dog. That sounded really, really, really awful. an unnatural understanding with the dog. They say, I mean, it's for example, like when you call Kep its name, the dog also sort of responds. They walk side by side, which is quite difficult to do with any dog. They have to be exceptionally well trained for that, and they've known the dog for like a day.
The dog is a Horcrux.
Ah, is that what it is? A Horcrux, yes. There's a crossing of 3 genres all at the same time. You may notice this, but Kepit doesn't see anything out of the ordinary. He does, however, think that you are the bestest person in the world for giving him a dog. Anything else you are doing?
Mission accomplished. I think that's about all that I had on the agenda.
Cool. Then we shall fast forward to the returning of the princess. This is, what's the plan, Winona? You sort of hear news as the guards sort of cry out, the princes are back! The princes are back!
Okay. I figure it's not strange for me to be seen around the castle, right?
No, not so.
Great. Then, yeah, when we hear this news, I'm just kind of hanging around the castle as I am known to do from time to time. Before they go anywhere, I will cast non-detection on myself. Then, I'll just kind of be hanging around,
It's non-detection, a concentration spell.
I don't think it is. Where's my... Wait, I don't know. Real quick. I have it as a, racial ability.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But, yeah, let me see. It is not concentration.
Right.
It lasts for 8 hours.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. It's pass without trace. That's the concentration one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
And, I'm just gonna turn invisible when I see
I just
them.
multiplied the queen. Sorry.
Oh!
She's duplicating. I don't even know how I did that. Like there was one of her, and then suddenly there were 6 of her.
Hostile takeover.
You can sort of. The guards are mostly heading out. It's a very ceremonial greeting, The master's up because, of course, we're welcoming Princess Katrina to the court. So it's a big affair,
yes.
Verity and Princess Katrina lead the way. And this probably goes into the sort of music that's playing.
But it wouldn't be strange for me to be seen at this greeting.
Oh no!
ceremony.
I mean, I think it's.
So I will make sure I am seen here amongst the people.
And indeed, are the rest of you sort of joining in with that at this time? Seeing how the field looks.
Yeah, come to the party.
Cool. Come to the party. Let me bring you to the party.
What food is there?
That's a great question.
None right now. You're outside.
Well, they could have put out a spread.
You would assume that a repast will be put on in the castle for those most important. But for now, sort of Verity and Katrikan sort of arrive to much fanfare. Chivalry is conspicuous in his absence. Don't worry, he's not dead. I'll tell you that for free. He's not dead. That's distracting. If you need a distraction, there's a big red dragon present in the courtyard.
Perfect.
But yeah, as this sort of... Oh, sorry, go on.
What time is this happening?
It's about 3:30 in the afternoon.
I'm at the beach.
Okay. You're at the beach. Off you go, over there. But the rest of you sort of notice that the big parade is happening and everybody's coming back. You'll see that Verity and Katrikan seem relatively happy with each other. And as I said, chivalry conspicuous in his absence. The king and queen sort of come out and stand outside to greet their child and wish him well. Winona, is this your moment to sort of quietly slink inside and try and be unnoticed?
I think so. I would also like to use my, what is it called? Psychic whispers or something to communicate with y'all while I'm inside.
Okay, yep. Set up a group call.
Yeah, exactly. The group chat. Wow, I don't know why it put all the text in the world. Okay.
It's fine. We know what
so
that
yeah.
one does. It lets you chat
It's
in
a
a
lot
mile in a mile, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I will head in. I'll say, if
You do
guys
need to roll
see...
for that, McKenna.
Oh, I need to roll how many
A
hours it
psychic
lasts.
best, I believe.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I don't think this is going to be a problem, but obviously, yes, great, because there is going to be the whole repast and feast, and after which you would assume that is when the conversation would take place, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'll ask you guys to keep an eye out for Chivalry. Send me a DM if you see him. But otherwise, I'm gonna just begin my stakeout.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty.
Go in here.
There's not a huge amount going on right now. It's pretty relaxed, and not a huge amount happens. There's this sort of the feast at which you are all sort of welcomed to, where sort of these large tables are laid. I mean, what we'll do is we'll take the feast. These large tables are sort of laid out with food. Lots of different people involved. There's a couple of minstrels playing in the corner. Starling indeed is there, and she will tell tales of the wedding and also.
Oh my goodness, that's awkward.
Yeah, I mean not as the deaths, but as sort of the happy.
What, is she gonna be like, oh no, oh no, oh no, no, no?
No, I mean she tells of the happier times.
Oh, that's nice.
She also has learned some of the Mountain Kingdom songs, and she uses those to welcome Katrigan home, which is quite nice. You'll notice that Katrigan has just the one handmaiden with her, Joffron, if you remember. She didn't bring anyone else, which means that she's very alone in this foreign place.
What kind of food is there?
What kind of food is there? Today we will not resort to pheasant.
Oh thank God!
There's always pheasant.
If I see one more pheasant,
they're going extinct.
Literally.
Nope. There is suckling pig and wild boar.
Ooh,
Pig
what's the
and
difference?
more pig.
Yeah, well, suckling pig and wild boar are very different, right? There is also a humongous amount of venison at the table. You can see that an elk has been hunted for the purpose of the feast. There is a large array of unusual vegetables, candied fruits and vegetables, and potatoes done 5 different ways.
What's the difference between how the hog is cooked and how the pig is cooked?
Okay, so a suckling pig is like almost caramelized, I guess is the right way to describe it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it sort of has this. It's glazed, so
Yeah.
it's really good. It's basically a shiny little face of a tiny pig. Whereas the boar is like haunches that are being cut off and they've been slow roasted over the spit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll take some of
giving
each.
a sort of beautiful honey gammon glaze on the outside. It's like gammon.
Yum.
Yeah, I love gammon. So yeah, big slices of gammon with little tiny pieces of suckling pig are served out to each person with deep rich venison and a large gravy with multiple.
As we head inside to eat, Vero will go off to go hunt for himself.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure at his size what he hunts. I just hope it's not like nearby families.
Sorry, I've just realised you don't have any vision for Vero. Well, actually, technically that is correct. But yeah, he goes off, and I'm sure he will find cattle in the nearby areas.
Hopefully he doesn't.
Somebody's cows.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, he'll take at
No.
least 2 of them.
There's no concept of what's other people.
No, I mean,
Oh,
but
dear.
also they were just chilling in a field, of course. Like,
Yeah, they were asking to be eaten.
yeah, they were
Yeah,
just there
that's
to be eaten. Like,
Could I have my potatoes mashed,
Self-serve.
half mashed and half cubed?
sure,
Cute.
diced, I think, is what they're going with. Yes, diced.
Guys.
Yeah. Tossed in butter and garlic.
Oh my gosh.
Parsley mash. Yeah, it's good. I'm hungry now.
I will send a message. Someone save me a
I'm
plate.
starving.
Really go for some mashed potatoes.
This invisible mage hand just reaches down and floats food up to the ceiling.
Yum, yum.
But yeah, it's a long feast, which you can see. Well, can you? I don't know. Who present is an insightful character? Shit, fuck, bollocks.
Perhaps.
I am, but I'm afraid to say so.
I know. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, this is a
I have
disaster.
I have a +9 to insight, so I'm pretty insightful.
Yeah, you're pretty insightful. You paying any attention?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. As you look over to Katrika, you see she is looking slightly overwhelmed, a little sad, and a little uncomfortable.
Oh.
Obviously, part of that is going to be that she's just in a foreign place with foreign. I'm just going to wear a towel
Yes.
under my t-shirt.
She's the new bride.
She's red.
She's the bride, yeah. Then I will. Where is she sat opposed to me?
Okay, so you guys are sat like pretty much where placed. And then the king and queen are at the head of the table, and Verity and Katrikan are given places of honor at right and left. So she would be sort of diagonally across from you. The table's much bigger and much longer, so you're probably having Galfax. Off you go, Galfax.
Then I'll if no one's sat next to her, then I'll.
The handmaiden is next to her.
Oh,
Verity's
man.
opposite her.
Then I'll pick up my plate because I have no concept of manners or whatever the word is for knowing what to do in these situations.
Yes.
And I will head on over, and I'll just lean down slightly to the handmaiden and say, "May I take this seat for a moment?"
Ooh.
Of course, sir. And she stands up and stands behind Katrikan's chair.
Thank you. I'll with a fork pick up a slab of meat that's on my plate and be like, "Do you want to try? Have you tried this yet?" It's and then with the same hand, because I'm holding plate and fork, I'll just go like, "Mwah, it's wonderful."
I've tried all the meat, thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm not used to being full up on meat, but you do you. And I will sit down next to the new bride. Well, not bride. The new
Yeah, she's newlywed.
New wife. Yeah, newlywed. That's it. And I'll just slightly lean over. So, how's it hanging?
Yes, the journey was pleasant. The food is excellent. It's a pleasure to be welcomed so joyously by the court.
I don't know if I have a piece of parchment and quill on hand.
Mm-hmm. It's unlikely.
Oh no.
Then I'll just. You said there's gravy. Is it in one big jug, or do we all have our own gravy jug?
Where is this going?
Where is this going?
Answer my question first.
I said one big jug.
Oh damn! Is there a spare glass?
Sure. There's
Okay,
water
then I will pour some gravy in spare glass, and then I will take my napkin and I will dip my fingers in glass and write on the napkin, "Are you okay? You're bad at lying." And I'll pass it over to her. I don't want to outwardly say it. I did have a note to pass.
Very good.
Making me a little uncomfortable, if I'm being honest.
And are you?
Oh, no.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, I was just checking in.
She sort of gestures towards the napkin. Is this a custom of your people?
I didn't know if you wanted to speak so freely about your feelings, but I thought you might want to talk to someone since royalty's dropping like flies around here.
Yeah,
Nice reminder.
Nice and sensitive. Her brother only died a week ago.
She got married straight after. Don't talk to me about sensitivity.
It's a choice.
There's always a choice.
Yes, it's a difficult profession these days. My lord, and she looks over to Prince Verity and she's sort of, you enjoy hunting in the area, do you not? Is this an indication of what you might hunt in the local area? Perhaps we might hunt together. And you see the queen sort of look to her.
Of course. Oh my
The-
goodness. A
the ladies-
princess hunting?
The ladies don't usually hunt, but I have heard you're adept with a bow. Perhaps you might show my son a thing or two. And the Queen very deftly steers the conversation towards topics that Katrigan is comfortable with, making her feel a bit more relaxed in this social environment after her strange gravy encounter.
I will. Obviously, she said I was making her uncomfortable. Kind of rude, but whatever.
You're started riding on gravy. You're bad at lying. Like, you know what I mean? That's. I don't think you're in a position to accuse anyone of being rude.
Brilliant.
I mean, honestly, I
That's
think Winona
amazing.
had to make a deck save not to fall off the ceiling. She saw that.
Oh
That's
no!
amazing. Anyways, after
I will
you know,
commune telepathically to Luca. I thought it was a good effort.
Thank you. But I will, being respectful, I will pick up my plate and gravy glass. Well, no, I will pour gravy onto the plate, leave the glass there, and I will walk all the way back round to my seat over here.
Great, I'll stay there. Yes, well, that was a disaster. You will notice a little later into the day that Chivalry and his wife Patience make a brief appearance. They walk over to the king and speak quietly to the king and his wife, their mother. Well, Chivalry's his mother. They don't share a mother. They're a married couple. And then they leave. Winona, give me a perception check.
Thank you. I want to eavesdrop.
I don't suppose you
I
have
would
like
ask-
observant or anything. Do you?
Observant. I wish.
Okay, that's it's a feat that allows you to read lips. That's why I was curious.
No, but I got a 18.
Did anybody happen to mention during the conversation anything about them? That was the question.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it is mentioned that Chivalry obviously has been away from his wife a while, and Patience doesn't really like social occasions. She organised the ball, if you remember, the Winterfest, but she didn't really show for a huge amount of it. She's a bit of a eccentric character. She prefers her sort of studies alone and stuff like that. So because of that, he went to see his wife separately, and then they made a short appearance. I'm sure they'll speak to the king later, Verity says. But for now, they, my brother has missed his wife greatly.
Understandable.
Winona, sorry, your perception check was
18.
19. You didn't catch much of what was said, but you did catch the last sentence, which was, "There are issues we must discuss." Chivalry
Noted.
did not sound chirpy.
Can I follow him out of the room? I imagine he's gonna... Wait, does he live here or somewhere else?
Yes, he lives in the castle. You can indeed follow him. Bear with me. We've
I
never
feel like
been
you
up
guys
here.
got this room covered.
We've never been up here.
Oh boy. Behind closed doors.
No, behind second floor. If you would like to place your token up here.
Oh. Okay. Is that right?
Not you! Fucking hell, Galthak. You don't fucking...
Galvin, what are you doing here? You're blowing my cover!
This little invisible... no? That is correct, right?
No.
Invisible gnome is
Yes.
creeping up the stairs behind Galthak, just... up the stairs, so grumping behind. Fucking hell.
Gathic, I think you should stay with the group. Oh, God.
Sorry, I had to write down MVP. That is it. That is the one. Yes, you will notice that the king and queen, this is their suite. The king in waiting and his wife. Oh, have I lost him? Where is he? There he is. I think it might be Regal actually, but whatever. Him and his wife, sort of. We'll spend a little bit of time sort of they sort of sit in the van together and they talk about the poisoning. Chivalry talks a lot about how he feels very uncomfortable about it. It's a gift that he himself gave to Rurisk. If you remember, excuse me.
So she's fully in the know, is why.
Oh, 100%.
that's
She's a very
sweet.
awkward type. As soon as she comes into the room, she does a very unladylike, unnoble-like thing. She sort of hikes her skirts up to her knees, where you see that she is bare-legged, and her legs are
Ooh.
recently tattooed. And she shows him that she has been tattooing ivy onto her legs.
Wow.
Which she really enjoys. She pursues the tattooist's arts. And she will sort of scatterbrainedly flit from topic to topic. He's trying to tell her about like the wedding and the poison and everything, and she's telling him about a new plant she's been growing, which is a splice of two different plants. And then she tells him all about Mittens. Mittens has been doing really well recently, although had a little bit of a cough not that long ago. And all sorts else. Besides...
She's just super scatterbrained.
Yeah, she's scatterbrained in a lot of ways. She's clearly very intelligent, but yeah, scatterbrained indeed. She bounced from topic to topic, and you can see Chivalry sort of after a while gives up on telling her about what happened, and sort of just looks at her in what's clearly admiration and love. He obviously really enjoys her slight hattiness. After a while, he says to her,
Beautiful.
Patience, I must talk to my father. I suspect foul play. And she sort of hesitates for a moment. And do you have a man you can take with you that you trust? And a swift exit in mind? These politics get dangerous. He sort of hesitates. And I do not need a guard to speak to my father. He owes me the truth. Patience sort of hesitates. Yes, what you're owed isn't always what you get. But we'll see. You see, she is far less trusting of the king than Chivalry is. But while Winona's chilling upstairs with Chivalry, the rest of you will notice that the Lady Katrina makes an early leave with her handmaiden. And Verity sort of stands and, excuse my wife, it's been a long journey and she's new here and she could use some time to get acquainted with her rooms and stuff. I will see to her to her room, but I will return, Father, if you might. Perhaps we might move to the drawing room and share brandy. The king agrees. And you will all be, you'll all sort of be ushered into a separate room where you might spend some time with a few people. And there's this sort of awkward... Sorry, Kai. And we don't know not here. There's this sort of slightly awkward moment where the king sort of notices that you're coming in and is like, but says nothing.
What is that?
There's a that's the resurrection of discretion. That's what that is. I don't know why the lights are quite so yellow. But yes, they are that yellow for everyone. Who knows? Or maybe it's just Karina. Put a fresh token on, Laura, and delete your original one. It was you that was yellow. I don't know why you were yellow. Anyway, who knows? There's this sort of passing out of brandy, and after a while, Chivalry descends, and I'm assuming that Winona stalks behind.
Sure.
Okay. And then when Chivalry and Verity sort of sit opposite their father, they are... Chivalry sort of looks to his father and... Father, there are issues we must discuss. And then he looks straight at Karina, and if you don't mind, I would have words with my father in private.
Of course.
he will also nod towards Astrid Brightlance and Riddle, amongst others. He basically dismisses the entire room.
What?
Yeah, you too.
Okay. Well, then, as we leave, I'll just say to Karina, why couldn't they leave? They have the whole house.
Yeah,
I will
you
just
can go off to
shoot a
another room
quick
for
message to Winona. You're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm chilling. Feet kicked up in the corner with my notebook in hand.
Okay. So at this point, you are witness to a conversation with just the two sons and their father.
Perfect.
And Verity sort of, Father, it has been a difficult time. Many things have occurred that Chivalry just sort of cuts across. And, did you poison Rurisk? King sort of looks. No, I did not. Nor did I order it done. Chivalry will remind him that the brandy was bought by him and sent by the king. And he sort of hesitates for a moment. Brandy. I don't remember buying brandy. Did I buy brandy for the prince? Well, if I did, I certainly didn't poison it. Winona, give me a Arcana check, please.
Arcana? Oh. Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Nice. For the king, who seems to have quite an exceptional memory, has his faculties all about him, is generally very with it, I guess is the right word, to suddenly act as if he has no clue what's going on, doesn't remember the brandy, etc. You suspect some sort of magical interference.
Oh my god.
And indeed, when Chivalry presses him on the issue, his father gets quite distressed. I don't remember any brandy. I'm sorry. I don't know. Why would I poison him? Even if we were to... What was the words discretion used? I wish he was here right now. Hasten the end of his life. We would have at least waited till the marriage was secure, and that, indeed, it boded well for the Seven Duchies. I mean, Rurisk himself orchestrated half of the bond and arrangement. Why on earth would we destroy such a thing? He was the very reason that such a diplomatic end was able to be reached, and thank goodness Sacrifice was willing to see sense and let the wedding go ahead, even though such a tragedy has befell his house.
Oh my god.
Chivalry hesitates for a moment. And so
Wow.
whose hand was in this poisoning? Verity sort of, well, I would have suspected my brother, Regal, but I don't see why he'd poison himself as well. The king sort of looks confused and, you think your brother poisoned himself? Verity sort of, no. I don't know. I long to head out to sea on the ships and fight the raiders honestly and deal with problems with a blade in hand, straight on. Enough of this treachery and treason and secrets and lies. The king sort of hesitates for a moment. Verity, you won't be going on the ships. I'll be remaining here. As will you before you get any ideas in your head. And he looks at Chivalry. We need not risk our princes on the boats. You will, like I, have communication with them via the mages. And Verity, you will seek to direct the ships through your visions. Chivalry, it's about time you took more responsibility at the court. Take some duties off my shoulders. You'll also need to take Regal's duties. Chivalry sort of shakes his head. Very well, father. Verity looks furious.
Was the plan for Barry to go with us on the ship originally?
Verity's plan was to go on the ship. Clearly his
Oh,
father's
okay.
was not. Verity sort of stands up quite awkwardly. But excuse me, I have a new wife to attend to.
I mentally high-five him.
And the king sort of looks to Chivalry and perhaps if you are at home at the court with your wife, there is more chance of you conceiving an heir. I won't lie to you. If you were to fall, Regal would have been my choice to follow you to the crown. His death is a devastation to us all.
How does Chivalry take that when he says that line? Chivalry,
He
like,
raises an eyebrow. You see that he's
shocked.
very loyal to his younger brother, to Verity. But he also knows that his father always, Queen Desire was a wife that the king chose. Queen Constance was a wife that the king had arranged. And he did come to love Queen Constance very much, but he chose Desire out of passion and love, and as such cherishes the child as a product of that marriage. Regal was always the spoiled one.
Ah,
The king sort of shrugs his shoulders. And Chivalry, I didn't poison any man. Well, sometimes my brother would act on his own accord for the good of the realm, as he would put it, and then apologize afterwards. I don't think this is something discretion would have done without asking. I can't be sure. Chivalry nods. Well, if I'm to have an heir, I suppose I should put the effort in. He smiles, and his father doesn't smile back. And if you can't conceive an heir with your wife, a different wife might have to be chosen for you. I never did approve of your choice of that scatterbrained woman. Chivalry turns back, and that will not be necessary, father. And as he leaves, we'll take a short break.
oh my gosh.
Hello, and welcome back. I've totally forgot to change the music, haven't I?
Yes.
We're smacking in with some Iron Maiden. Yeah, welcome back to the second half of Soulforged. And we left off on the bombshell that Chivalry's wife can't conceive, and basically he should do something about that. Well, no, I'm assuming after the king is the only one in the room, you will make your exit.
Maybe I'll creep on him for a few more minutes, but I'll head out.
Yeah,
If he doesn't do anything interesting.
He literally will seek Constance and literally repeat the entire conversation to her.
Oh, gosh.
His
Alright.
queen. Cool. After which, you can regroup with the party. What's the plan? Do you guys want to have a chat with Regal and or Chivalry and or each other about anything? Or are we just going to go, okay, information learned and shared, and then continue from there?
That is a great question. What do we do with this information?
I mean, I don't know about information, but I would like to try and steal away with some meat from dinner for later to make possible sandwiches.
Literally, the cook will assist you in packing it up.
Oh, great. He can make me. He can not make me. Oh, that sounds awful. He
He's
can
female.
help me
He's called
make.
Sarah.
Oh, she, they can help me make sandwiches then.
I think she's actually on the map, isn't she? Yeah, there's
have no
Cook
idea.
Sarah. Well, I mean,
Where?
she's just making her way across the room. Oh, she's doing
She's
making
under
sweet,
someone.
sweet love to
Oh, there she is. Oh,
There
she's
she is.
even got the bread. Perfect.
Yeah, that's Cook
I
Sarah.
didn't really want baguettes, but that's fine if that's all she has.
No. That just happens to be what she's currently holding.
Okay.
She'll give you the
Yeah,
meat.
sandwiches for everyone, and some vegetarian sandwiches for our.
Just
Okay, yeah.
just
in
to
case
show off the
people want to make
tokens,
different.
she also has an assistant
They look
and,
like they're ready to kill someone.
That's Maud. She's
Not
the
Maud.
cook's apprentice. Handy with a rolling pin is Maud.
It looks like there's some blood on that rolling pin.
Yeah.
I can't actually see it because it's so dark in a room.
How do we keep resurrecting discretion?
It's meant to be
It just won't die.
Just every time we go anywhere, Jamal, we'll just make Luca emit bright light. There you go.
Fantastic, thank you.
The fog's gone. I quite liked the fog.
Yeah, it's just you emitting 60 feet of bright light, and it's gone. Because we're done with that. So yeah, following morning, would we be sort of doing anything with this information, or just keeping it to ourselves, or what?
I mean, I guess I would ask Karina if she knows about.
Sorry, just to clarify,
Anything.
obviously you guys will share the information yourselves, and we don't need to roleplay that, like, it's been shared, but then once it's been shared, you would ask
Yeah.
Karina...
She knows about anything that could, compel someone to do something or mess with their memory, because the king seemed to have no recollection of doing this thing.
Kai, you would also be present for this chat, I think. I just need to look at your spells.
We have this chat on the beach when we join Kai for a nice walk.
Well, it's the
in
following day,
afternoon.
right? I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys will group up briefly. Kai, you would know that you have a spell that allows, that can influence people's thinking to a drastic level. It is only a second level spell. So you would know about suggestion, which could be used to sort of bypass a tiny amount of information or influence somebody to do something that they might not want to. Modify memory, Karina, you would know, could be used after the fact to change stuff up if you wished. But yeah, when you start having this discussion, you do think that it would have been very out of character, right, for King the Just, to viciously murder opposing king's son.
Yeah,
Maybe there was some foul play there.
he's still a little sus to me, but
That's fair.
alright.
How do you convince the king to allow you to cast a restoration spell on him?
Ooh.
Do it without him knowing.
Just give him a
Quite
pat on the
difficult.
shoulder. Right? A friendly hug. He's going through hard times lately.
Yeah, everyone could do with a hug. Especially kings.
Has the king ever allowed us within his personal space?
Arm's
like that?
length thrill.
Yeah.
Within this safety bubble.
Are we that close with him? He's kind of like our boss. Oh, man. Okay. I mean, we told him that something happened to his brother, possibly. I feel like if we just explain, we just want to check something for your safety, you know?
But what if he asks how you come to this train of thought? You can't just be like, well, you know how we have your best interests at heart.
We do!
We spied on you.
For your own good.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I just want to narrow down what we're doing before we start
definitely.
lying.
Oh, we're definitely gonna lie. Or maybe just tell a half-truth.
How long is it until we leave on the boats?
Couple of months.
Oh, wow.
What, were you planning on just like cast it
What was
and
the
run?
We're off. Also, will we shake our hand as we leave, my king?
Oh, there you go.
Well, then you wouldn't be around to see what the repercussions were.
That's why I have Starling keeping her nose to the ground and her eyes and ears open.
She's not doing very well at either of those things. Oh, she's doing a great job of keeping her eyes and ears open, but not for anything that's useful to you.
I think it's ears to the ground, nose to the grindstone, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was just
pressing
gonna
her
say.
face into the ground.
I was like, why is she sniffing the ground?
Like a
Tracks.
bloodhound.
Yeah.
Woo, thank you. Alright.
Season 3 of Soulforged, Starling becomes a mole.
The literal mole.
But yeah, unless you plan on do you plan on attacking the king with this greater restoration mission? Or are you just going to keep an eye out to see if there's any further shifty behavior?
What are your thoughts, Kai? You're the only one that would be able to attempt it.
I don't have good restoration, so
Then this point is moot.
yeah, I
Bard does not have it unless he wants it later on.
I'm dead.
Yes. Good chat, though. Good chat.
Alright.
Moving on.
Well, if we ever do get it, at least we know where we stand.
Wish is Wish is available in a few levels. About 7 of them. To be fair, I think Karina might be able to cast Remove Curse as well.
Oh wait, I can do that. Just that.
Yes, that is also
modify
in the,
memory?
It does. It does indeed.
Oh.
Wait,
We
does
had
that have
we
to
had
be-
a moment about this in literally last Scravian
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my brain was going. I'm sure it was recently. Yes, it'll get counterspelled, and then your character will immediately disappear to the shadow.
I don't think anyone around here can counterspell.
You should be able to remove curse from a distance.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Okay. And can you channel spells through your familiar, or is that just an artificer thing?
I'll send
Yeah.
my bird to sit on the king's shoulder.
Yeah, that won't be entirely suspicious in the slightest.
And make it invisible.
Is this something we genuinely want to attempt to execute, or would you
I
have
don't
fun
know
looking
how
with
where
it, or
we
are you just
begin.
sort of holding off for now?
Just spitballing here, but
The bigger question would be, who would be able to accomplish this?
that's
Against
a good
the king.
question. This seems like strong magic.
That's stronger magic than I even know Court Mage Dara to be able to perform, right?
Yes, well, you know 100% he cannot perform it. He's
Yeah.
way beyond his means.
Hmm.
We left him behind in the
Well,
dust. Jenkins is nearly caught up with him.
I need to look at Jenkins' spellbook again.
I mean, we do know a few, or at least one person who's quite advanced in magic, who
Yeah.
currently lives in a abandoned house.
So, just a reminder
Ooh.
that at no point have you ever seen Galen perform his own magic. You've seen him use a wand, you've seen him use a scroll, you've seen him make potions,
Oh,
and you know that there
someone-
is a mage that casts the illusions on his own.
Yes,
Don't
one
know
of his
what
friends did something. Yeah.
He is, yeah, just full of magic items.
Yeah, but you certainly know that Galen himself wouldn't be capable of any of that.
Alright, maybe we just shouldn't meddle until we are more certain.
What does Galthak, you're very quiet today. What are your opinions on this?
I currently don't have one. Anything we do carries risk, and I don't know what to make of the whole situation.
That
Love
sounds
that.
odd for Galfang. Why would he have an input?
Because he's part of the team.
Yes, but why would he have an input on matters so magical? You
Yeah.
just want to keep a close eye
Not
on
him.
Shifty King to see if he gets any shifty.
Shifty King.
Yeah,
Yes.
shifty.
If you do so, after about 7 or 8 days later, there is an argument between the King and Queen Constance, of which knowledge becomes quite public. She
Who's
wants to
that?
make a journey to. I'm gonna put us on the map. Sorry, bear with. She wants to make a journey to Shale. Up on the coast. Where the Forged have been creating quite a lot of trouble. It is, whilst discussing this argument in a tavern, you hear rumour that a group of Forged in the south have been left to their own devices. And they've taken to robbing people on the road.
Wow.
That's not good.
That's so weird.
Did they
When
have-
we-
Is that unexpected?
I mean, when we saw the Forged, they had no like. They wanted things, yes, but not to organized crime.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well,
Like,
should you inquire more from this passing minstrel, whose name is Baxter, he will tell you that from what he heard, after they'd picked the entire village to pieces, there was nothing left, so they started making their way inland looking for more. Obviously, they ran out of the resources that were in the village.
but I mean, robbing people on the road like they are, they are
Could have just
armed.
wandered the streets and been ready for anybody who came across them.
Yeah, so
I
they're
suppose
like,
we are taking the word of a minstrel's word of someone else's word.
Yeah, it's just a story he's passing on from a traveller who was attacked by the Forged and ran away.
mm,
Apparently, he dropped his cloak for them, and they began to fight amongst themselves over it. That's how he
Oh
got
my
away.
gosh, these hoarders are just crazy.
oh man, did he say where that was?
In the south. Doesn't really narrow it down much.
That's
For anybody
weird.
we
who's
know-
confused, south is in that direction.
Yeah. I have a feeling
Do
it's
we know-
here at Dorch.
Yes,
Do we
definitely.
know what city
they
they
headed
forged on
inland
the
from the coast. So you know that there's been troubles at Yellstock. You defended Hummins, I believe. Is that right? No, maybe not. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you defended Carve. There have been troubles down in the south, further south from Neat Bay. But raids have occurred all the way along the coast of Coons in the past, as well as all the way along this coast and this coast. Little tiny villages and all the way up. Little tiny villages, 20 people, 10 people, 15 people. There may even be some that were forged that you weren't even aware of. Just, like a friend of a friend informs someone that their friend has stopped replying to a letter. And that's how it gets found out.
I have a question, and this is going back to when we first met the Soulforged, or I don't know if you remember. When they were like, trying to grab people's items and stuff, were they trying to like get any and everything and stuff it in their pockets, or were they looking for something specific?
Yeah.
Because
so
what if that's the thing? What if the raiders are fucked with their heads, but what if they're like actively looking for something specific to take back to the raiders?
As I recall, they were looking for comfort items.
Exactly. They were looking for warmth, food, things that were shiny and pretty, as if they were the most simple-minded of beings looking for anything they could grab that would
Okay, I
make their
see.
lives better.
They're not looking for like an ancient artifact that's been stored in the kingdom's vaults for
Nope. Nope, they're looking
Okay.
for clothing, food, warmth, comforts, etc.
Okay, so we just got hobos with rabies. Okay,
Yeah, but
This is one way to put it. Holy crap!
yeah, that's basically what that is.
it's like they're hobos with rabies. all hobos
It's
with
just-
rabies have
it's
no
just-
souls. You
yeah,
heard it here
that's
first.
That's what that is, just with less foam at their mouth. That's what it is.
You heard it here first. Those bums, soulless.
Yeah, jeez.
With
Get a
rabies.
job.
Yes.
God.
Okay, there's probably
Anyways.
no homeless people watching this that we can offend, but before we offend anyone else,
How are they getting rich?
if any of you who are watching this have broken into an internet cafe, we're sorry. Carrying on from there, I'm sure you
Oh
have a
my
soul.
God.
It's okay. Fuck me, Josh. Yeah, so basically, argument between the king and his wife. She wants to go to Shale and look after the Forged. The king is suggesting that a more efficient solution could potentially be put into place.
Does it mean death?
He will mention that Riddle has been trying to persuade him about it, though he is uncomfortable.
Ooh. Well, the Queen's been to these towns before with the Soulforged there, though, hasn't she? That's what
Yes,
she
but that was
was-
after they were recently raided, and these were the villages that people were sort of looking after their Forged.
I see, but she wants to go to the ones that are currently.
Well, I mean, nobody's been forged in the last 3 months because it's winter, right? But she just sort of wants to continue that work, and he's like, he was pissed off the first time. He doesn't want her gone again.
Why do we? I suppose we wouldn't know why that's not.
Because he doesn't want her put in
knowledge.
danger. Like, he made that quite clear the first time.
Fairs.
Oh, the balloons.
Imagine
My
being
brain is-
super possessive over your not favorite wife.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the case as well is like she does do a lot at the court in terms of keeping the nobles, balanced and in different sort of events and meals and stuff, really keeping up the morale and looking after different nobles and the dukes as they visit and stuff like that. So yeah, he'd rather she didn't go. But anyway,
Well, what is Riddle suggesting? And also, did anything ever come from that experimenting Discretion was doing on these Soulforged people?
no, they tried physicking them, they tried starving them, they tried cleansing them, they tried showering them in luxury, they tried showering them with love. They tried sort of training them like you would a dog. And whilst they could learn simple things like if you go and sit in that chair, then you'll get your food, they still never hesitated to try and steal more, beg for more. They would always gorge themselves to the point of being sick. If there was more food, they couldn't make food last 2 or 3 days. They would just eat it all in one go, with no control. There was absolutely nothing achieved, sadly. And you would have been privy to the full results of those experiments. But Riddle's solution is brutal. He suggests riding out with panniers of poisoned bread.
Oh, just kill them?
Swift, but just is the wrong word. Swift, but
Efficient?
yeah, swift and efficient.
Effective.
Yeah,
Effective.
That's the one.
Better word. So, it's already gotten to this point. We were kind of talking around it, right? But it was going to eventually lead to just we have to start doing something.
You do hear from Riddle that the estimated number of forged is over 400.
It's a lot of forged.
Yeah.
So how many raids was it that created these 400? Do we know how many it was?
Lots and lots of raids occurred over a period of time. You stopped a lot of them at the islands, but they would come in the night and sort of raid one village and then raid another village and then raid another village and raid another village. You've got no concept of how many successful raids there were. And of course, Riddle will point out that some of these reports of the Forged could be the same Forged people, especially if they're moving inland. So having an actual count of them is almost impossible, but people could be reporting the same Forged members making their way, right? You get 6 reports of the same 6 people, it becomes 36 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, he will point out that these are weird estimates. Only 2 large towns were raided, and that's Shale and Carve. And Forge itself, of course, which was...
I'm guessing that's where the majority of them came from.
No, at Carve, they still keep their forged at home, if you remember.
Yeah.
They pay to the return and they look after them there. So no, those forged are not even sort of really in the count, I guess.
Right.
But you've got to remember, as I said, it's It's three sides of coast, right? It is literally all of
Yeah.
that. So it's difficult to estimate because it's such a distance as well.
Right, but all we know is the number that we have in this area right now, and that's a few
Guesses
hundred.
are at a few hundred, yeah.
Yeah. Which, considering the length of the coastline, seems like a very small number, but...
Well, you've got to remember that there's only a
Yeah.
couple of thousand people in Valaris town, right? And that's the capital. Numbers of people in towns and villages is small in this world. So it's quite a big number in comparison to the population. Remember, that's why they were having trouble manning the coast, because there's just not enough soldiers. But the ships are hopefully going to be a solution. And you do hear that it is not long before the ship's crews will be chosen. And they'll begin their training before the boats are even ready. They'll begin their training sort of down the docks, getting to know each other, etc. And you are asked if you would participate in such an event. Obviously, you're not going to be crew members as such, because you'll be honorary guests on the boat, I guess is the right way of looking at it. And in charge, likely. The fighters themselves are mostly being chosen from the soldiers. Soldiers who've been from all across the duchies. There are also a few volunteers, mercenaries, sort of ex-fighters, that sort of stuff. The sailors themselves are mostly merchant sailors or tradesmen sailors who are signing up to something very bravely that is well beyond the realms of their experience. The boats will have oars and sails, so they need capable sailors, but they also need people capable of pulling an oar, strong oarsmen, etc. Very Viking-esque boats. The sort of long ships with the big sail and the many rowers on either side. And indeed, there were so many volunteers with the ships that they had to draw lots. For the first 2 ships, if you remember, there's going to be 2 ships, and then another 6, and then another 6 is the hope. A total of 14 ships. The first 2 ships, the flagships, are the Rurisk and the Regal. So you're invited down to the docks. I'm sure Galthak will help in teaching them the way of the sword.
Well, absolutely would I.
But most of the training in the more sort of how to work on a boat and how to manage a boat is being done by a grizzled old dwarf. He seems to be about 300, 400. Long grey beard. He's missing an eye, half his ears bitten off. It's like he's a state. And he sort of starts to tell them what it's like when battle comes upon them, and how that if you are an oarsman, you must maintain your position at the oar, even if your friends are dying next to you. You can't leave off the oar to man a sword, and vice versa. Soldiers, must be the ones who are fighting. And he's talking about sort of in quite a detrimental way, when to jump ship. It's a lot of negatives, and you can't help but notice that it is.
Sorry. Does he know how many people can fit on one piece of wood without making it sink?
He thinks it's 1.5. Yeah. One if the other one is only holding on from the sea.
Okay. Interesting.
I see you. Yes, he definitely seems to be lowering the morale of the men a little bit. He's giving it very real, and indeed, Karina, you would recognize a lot of things he was saying are correct. He's obviously very experienced. But yeah, it's difficult for the men to hear that, about why are there horses on these boats? God's sake. Put the
Why
horses
wouldn't
away.
there be?
Yeah, because that's impractical.
Well,
I'm sure there's going to be a
put-
camel on the boat. Why wouldn't there be horses?
Wouldn't they put the horses under deck?
They wouldn't put horses on the boats, period.
How do people get horses from one place to another then?
Oh, horses get put on boats, but why would a patrol ship defending the coastline take a horse with it?
Well, maybe we need to stop off at a place. I'm just saying. Yeah, what if we need to I don't know sailing terms. Go to harbour.
Yeah, this harbour. That's where it'll return.
Right, if you say so. I hope everyone likes walking.
You don't have to walk very far. The boat does the travelling for you.
No, I mean if we have to land.
Why would you have to land?
I don't know. Maybe we have to get repairs or something, or go get food. I'll have to stop somewhere.
Yes, what happens is the boat stops in for food, and you guys have to walk to where it's going to go next. That's how.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't get it. You don't get it. It doesn't matter.
No, I don't. I don't get it. Yes. Anyway. Cool. So, yeah, you do a little bit of training with the men, and it is announced that there is to be a large festival for Springfest on the 2nd of March, during which the king and the Prince Verity and Princess Katrikan will have their wedding in the town, in Valaris, where their father, the king, Prince Verity's father and mother, will get to be at the ceremony, because obviously they weren't at the first one. So there's all that sort of celebration to happen. I'm sure you'll all attend and enjoy.
Yeah, second
I
wedding.
wonder what prince will die at this one. Princess, maybe, to keep her out of the story forever.
Oh, that'd be convenient, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Princess Grace.
No. She fell off a tower a couple of weeks ago.
No.
No, thus far she's still alive. Just not relevant.
Has Katrikan been seen around town since they, very much?
Nope. She keeps to herself mostly. It's said that she meditates in her rooms in the morning. She does all the right things. She turns up at all the right places, all the right meals. She always tries to have a smile on her face. She eats at the main hall, the Great Hall, each night. She looks very happy with Verity, but a little lost and stranded without. And there's moments at which she just does the wrong thing. Not in a bad way, but sort of the ways of the mountain people are both very honest and also very much, they're a servant of the people. So, she'll get up and help herself to something when in reality she should wait to be served. Or, at one point she attempted to go into Valaris town on her own. And Verity sort of sent guards after her to escort her because she can't go into the town, which she was very uncomfortable about.
I'll just hold up the now very old, gravy-stained neck.
You okay? You're about to lie.
Yeah. You okay? You're about to lie.
Here we go.
You're willing to confide yet?
She seems to be developing a practice of fastidiously checking Valuka anywhere she goes, trying to avoid him. Although, yeah, she does go hunting with Prince Verity one day, quite successfully. But again, she sort of rode ahead on her own, and that, Verity got quite angry at her, and you could see she was very upset at being scolded such. I'm sure Luca would have gone on the hunt. So, yeah. You would have noticed that. That's very loud, thank you. Yeah, but Springfest comes. It's a wonderful festival, Springfest. They have many puppet shows at Springfest. There are carrot seed cakes, which are lightly spiced with something that makes you a little overexcited. If you remember, carrot seed is what Riddle gave you on the ride to Forge that fateful night in episode 2 that kept you sort of overly wide awake and a bit shaky. And then you
fantastic
plummeting downs afterwards. It's a party drug. And there's plenty of dancing and lively music and feasting and all the sort of competitions that you saw at Winterfest. There's sort of games going on, riddles, and sort of there's a big tug of war that happens on the second day. And on the third day, it is the wedding of Katrikan and Verity. It's very, very traditional and staged. She wears white, he wears blue, which is the colour of sort of a deep blue. She's escorted up the aisle by her handmaiden, as there's nobody else to do so. Nobody she knows. Verity's brother is there at Chivalry, and the king and queen are sort of very much present for the ceremony. And it's a very gaudy affair. It's overdone. It's really trying to make a big fuss of her. You can see Katrina looks uncomfortable for the entire thing, apart from when she dances with Verity. She looks happy.
What's the food like?
Fantastic. That's what it's like.
What is the food?
It is edible. It is delicious.
Thank goodness.
It is filling.
Is it
on time.
pheasant?
It is on time. It is well cooked.
Fantastic.
And
This
it
is
is
great.
nutritious.
Interesting.
yes,
It's porridge.
I would imagine that there is fish from the sea as well as fish from the river.
Ooh.
There will be every type of meat you can imagine, from goose to swan to pheasant,
Uh-oh.
to grouse, to pork, to venison, and beef and boar. Veal,
In for the return of the monkey tail.
which will probably make Luca very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't want.
No, do they eat fox meat? Probably not. Not enough of it.
I should
Wow.
hope not. No, that's great. I will take a big plate full of goose.
Big plate of goose. Love
Goose and potatoes. That's all I need.
Yum.
Yeah, goose and taters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one thing that is worth mentioning, Springfest, the common folk from Valaris Town are all invited and all very welcome to participate. It's what makes the festival so special in the world of Arvenia. Sorry, I had to think for a second there. Is that, it sort of really allows the royals and the common folk to mingle and really enjoy themselves. There's archery competitions, and there's a little bit of a champions gladiators arena going on, and all sorts of other fun events. But after the 3 days of that, you remember that the boats were meant to be launched on the day after Verity and Katrika's wedding.
Man.
So yeah, we have skipped quite a large period of time in that time to get to that.
I have a question.
Go on.
In those few days of the festival, when
Oh, go on.
because I think Kepit would have been with me, I just would have kept an eye on Chivalry to see if he ever took note of Kepit in any way, just to see if he noticed him or had any sort of reaction to seeing him.
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
It is your opinion that he doesn't. Riddle said he knew of the child's existence, but it doesn't seem like he knows that you are looking after the child, or even that the child is in Valaris.
Gotcha.
So he doesn't appear to have noticed. It's not that he's seen him and then ignored him. He doesn't appear to have noticed.
Cool.
But yeah, you guys probably had a month leading up to the boats leaving. Is there anything exciting or specific that any of you would do beyond what you've already been up to during your smaller downtime?
I would have probably, since we're planning on leaving on boats, I would have liked to have taken the time to become a little bit more familiar with speaking to a bunch
Actually,
of
that is a
sailors
point.
and
You
learning
would,
as much as I
you
can.
would have all have joined in the training of the soldiers, but I suppose in a way you would have been trained in the sailing. None of you are really going to be expected to pull an oar. It is assumed that your combat abilities are far beyond that of most of the other members of the boat, so why on earth would you be on the oars? But in the off chance of an emergency, where you're dragged in to
My thoughts exactly.
partake in the crew, you're at least being shown how to rig a sail, how to climb the mast up to the crow's nest, how to adjust the rudder, how to retract and drop anchor. There is a space on the Rurisk being made separately for you guys. It's sort of a stateroom, I guess. It's not that comfy in that you're all going to have to share, and it's the captain's quarters is sort of segued in the corner, but it is at least separate from the regular crew. Mostly to aid in their bonding, as you know, they're going to be a unit that stays together for a long, long time. There seemed to be at first a little bit of a rift between sailors and soldiers, but seeing as the soldiers are expected to sail and the sailors are expected to fight, there is progress made on those, and most soldiers and sailors are sort of the same thing, really. There's the general roughhousing, bit of arguing and banter between them. And I think that Galthak would probably fit in quite well with that sort of vibe. The rest of you might take a little bit of time to adjust. I think Kai and Karina probably struggle more than the others, just in terms of it's not something that you would be what's the word? It's not accomplished. It's not accommodated. It's
Accustomed?
accustomed. Thank you. Looking for that. It's not something that either of you would be accustomed to. This sort of general roughing about. In the case of Karina and Winona, you will notice there are very few women. In fact,
Ugh.
I believe there's one across both boats.
Oh, is she cute?
What a world.
No, well, she might be cute, but there is reason for this, because there are plenty of females signed up to the other boats. But seeing as this is the first try, the captains were worried that a woman might become a bone of contention between the men. So it wasn't really a case of the women aren't as comfortable or as competent. Indeed, one of the next 6 boats is going to be crewed almost entirely by women alone. It is mostly that they don't want the woman becoming... the men being a problem because of the woman.
So the women are denied opportunities because the men can't keep it in their pants?
Exactly, you got it. But there is one woman chosen.
What if the whole crew's gay? Then what?
Well, then it'll be easy.
Then there's no problem.
Yeah, but
has the captain asked?
No. But on the second boat, on the Regal, there is one woman who was chosen to be one of the head soldiers. But given that she's a Goliath and is pretty good with her weapons, it's assumed that if she does become a bone of contention for the men, she will handle herself appropriately.
Galthak. We gotta introduce you to.
Her name is Olga, if that helps.
Ooh.
And yes, she will be on the other boat. But for now, it is enough to say that you get ready for the departing of the Rurisk and the Regal. We do have a picture of the Rurisk. This is going to be the boat you are sailing on. The festival's over. Let's stop that. We're done with you, festival. Yeah.
That's a nice boat.
Lovely.
It is quite a nice boat. It's big. It's a lot for you guys to deal with. So there are 2 levels. Technically there are 3 levels on the decks, but only 2 of them are relevant. Something strange is going on with the cameras. Oh well, we'll fix it another day. What is meant by that is the bottom deck. There's a lot of bilge. And in that bottom deck is secured the supplies for the journey. So they're sort of in nets or on little sort of wooden shelves just above the bilge level. Are stowed caskets of grain, of water. The first trip is expected only to be a week. And then subsequent journeys will be much longer. The aim is to keep the boats at sea as much as possible. But the first trip, obviously, the maiden voyage is a bit of a test, so it'll only be a week. The second deck is where the crew will mostly be. It's also where there are things, spare parts stored. The galley is sort of slightly above, slightly below deck. It has a bit above deck, allowing light to get in, and of course a chimney. But for the most part, it is below deck. And then, sort of on a built-up part of the back of the boat, is the captain's quarters, which have been adjusted to be a sort of a mixture of a stateroom, you guys' quarters, and the captain's quarters, and quarters for the mage that would be on this boat if you guys weren't. It is thought that Dirk will be taking that duty when you guys step off. As Dirk, well, there's a reason why Dirk and Jenkins have been involved. Apart from the court mage, they are the the most, well, accomplished is a stretch, but you know, they've learned the most in the time they've had. So they're likely to be the mages that are chosen. On your boat, you estimate there to be about 25 crewmen, a mixture of soldiers and sailors. There are 8 men on the oars at any given time when there's a need for speed, and the rest would be soldiers. There is also the captain. The captain of the Rurisk seems like a very competent man. He's sort of quite round-shouldered. He's in his late 40s. And he introduces himself as simply Graf, Graf. He is a human. You would assume it's short for something, but he doesn't tell you. And yeah, I mean, Kai, you will notice that he doesn't seem that welcoming of you guys. You can assume that he's been told that any orders you give are to be listened to as if they came from the royals. A captain who's not in total control in his own ship is never going to be a happy captain. And you do catch at some point him talking to his second mate, Brashen. And he's basically saying to Brashen that once the pampered heroes leave the boat, the real business will start.
Ooh. What does he mean by real business?
Well, I mean, this patrol ship's going to stay at sea for, the next few years, right? You guys aren't always going to be there. So he sees this as a sort of, we'll baby you for a while and then you'll get off and we'll have to learn to get on with it ourselves. The fact that you need your own quarters, like stuff like that, he sees a little... and then he gets introduced, not directly, to Vero. As a dragon starts to circle above the ship and he's like, okay, we'll listen to them. Not to mention, I think Kai got on with a water elemental, who is now approximately 3.5 foot tall.
Smaller than me?
It's still small, still a small-sized creature, but the minor water elemental is, now entering its teenage years. They grow very quickly.
Grow so fast.
Yep, 6 months the water elemental comes from egg to fully grown. And you've had 3 already. Oh, just you wait.
They grow up so fast.
Yes, we'll find out how pleasant they are.
Now you've got to deal with a rebellious water elemental.
Well, at least you're taking it to sea, right? It's a good place for a water elemental to get rebellious. But yeah, as you all get ready on the day, the 2 boats are sort of lined up side by side. There's a sort of joyous fanfare going on. It's actually Verity and Katrikan who seem to be in charge of the situation. Chivalry is present, as is the king and his wife. But it is Katrikan, indeed, who hangs the laurel of ivy on the back of both ships, which is meant to bring you home safely. It's the sign of returning home safely. And it's Verity who blesses the ship with the sort of travel safely on the winds, overcome our enemies, protect our shores as you may, and return home safely to your wives, lovers, husbands, children. You can see that Verity's quite pissed that he is not joining, but in the same time is very proud that this is something that he put in motion. Right? He agreed to the wedding. This is how the timber happened. It was always his plan as the sort of more soldiery of the boys to really be able to fight back. Even in the last couple of days, you've seen him sort of start to grey a little bit as he's back to those visions constantly, pursuing the visions to be aware of the raiders prior to them happening. And indeed, you've already heard of the first couple of raids happening up and down the coast earlier than you guys thought. It was a warm and mild winter. The bolts came swiftly. But as the Rurisk and the Regal get ready to sail out, there's many a weepy-eyed female sort of who tosses flowers or handkerchiefs, whatever that's about.
Did I try and catch one of the flowers or bouquets?
Yeah, definitely. You are able to catch what appears to be sort of daffodils. and they come from a young lady in the crowd who's sort of looking up at you, admiring, and she seems to have aimed for you specifically.
I will catch them and I'll say, thank you! Thank you! We will be back soon, rest assured, and your homes will be safe and sound. Thank you so much! And I will walk away from the edge, and I will take out a goose sandwich. And we'll start eating the goose sandwich.
Yeah, 2-day-old goose sandwich. Great, love that. It's good. Leftover meat's the best. But as the boats are blessed and wished well on their way to sea, I think that's actually where we're going to end, because otherwise we're going to get into quite a lot. Go on.
As we're leaving, is there an insignia of the kingdom, basically?
Yes. I think we have it somewhere. No,
As we sail off, I will
but-
just use Skywrite to put the symbol above the ships.
Oh, fantastic!
Oh,
I know
beautiful.
where I can get it. Bear with me. I have it in the. Oh, where did I put it? Okay, I'll never know where I put the soldiers. Where did I put the soldiers? Oh dear, I made all the
Did you check the
soldiers. And I don't know where I
barracks?
put them.
Oh, you made assets and now you can't find them?
And that's how we
Yeah.
lose the war.
All of our soldiers have been lost. I've forgotten
Oh,
the soldiers
man.
have been
We've
saved.
just
Going
left
badly.
the harbour and we've already lost everyone.
I've got them. I think it's this one who has like a no.
Ooh.
No,
Oh,
it's not that one. One of them has the emblem on their shield.
you're kidding. That's so
These are the
cute.
colours of their places.
Aw.
No, they've all got nice matching shields that aren't right. I think I chose not to use it in the end. But yeah, basically, there is the crest. It is a buck, or a stag, if you like, and it's sort of it rides out. So it's sort of its front feet are raised and its back feet are down the ground. It's a blue background, and then there are sort of pinions or ribbons of each colour of all the other duchies. So the 6 duchies that, in addition to Valaris' duchy, sort of all around it. So the prancing buck is the mark of Valaris, and indeed, as it flies above the ship, as Karina summons it in the sky, there is sort of a loud cheer from the shore. There's definitely an air of hope and joy and festivity. That these ships are going to protect our coast from the raids. And yeah, that there is where we will end.
Oh, yeah.
So we come to the timeless tradition of MVPs, and I shall start where I finished with Michaela.
Okay. Yeah, of course, the drama with the royal family, continuing to be very juicy. But also, I mean, the main one for me was Luca's gravy note attempting to console the princess, I think, and just creeping her out.
Oh, you did say that you're not a very good liar. I think that's what rubbed her up the wrong way.
Oh, that was the part. I thought it was just him dipping his fingers into gravy and
Oh, that too. Yeah, that 100%.
yeah, it was very good.
Laura.
The description of the Soulforged as hobos with rabies. No doubt.
Oh my god.
I'd hope to skip that one. Never mind. Yeah. Josh.
I really like the war elemental. I really badly wanted to say evolving, but that's not what I mean. Growing up, I just had this funny imagery in my head that because now it's in its teen years, turns to Ken's you're not my real mom, and jumps into the ocean to run away. You know?
God.
Well,
So yeah.
Yes.
I'm mostly going to be leaving it up to Jay to decide how well behaved your maybe becomes. We'll find out. Speaking of which, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I have to second down on the hobo comment.
Oh, the hobo comment. Yeah, it was
Babies.
it was definitely something. Hobos with rabies and notes in gravy. I mean, we could almost write a poem about this session.
Okay.
Jamal.
The bards are here.
I'm sorry, I've got to do it. Hobos with rabies and no souls.
Oh, yes, indeed. The soulless hobos. That is what it is. Well, I'm so glad that comment got everybody. All this epic storytelling. And, fuck it, hobos with rabies. I really enjoyed me letting Winona know that in her sneaky following upstairs, she should put her token on the page. Galthak appearing. Good old Gerthak and his audio slave entrance. Yeah, I really enjoyed the interplay between Karina and Riddle to do with the raising of Kepit. Obviously going to be a continued bone of contention. I think it's very easy to forget that we have this bastard prince hanging about. What you guys probably don't know is that in the books, Kepit is the main character.
What?
Yes, the bastard prince is the main character of the entire books, and it's from his perspective that it's written.
Wow.
Obviously, I've messed with the timelines a little bit so that he doesn't become the main character because he's a child. But yeah, so that's a nice little part. I'm choosing to ignore gravy and hobos completely. And yeah, I really enjoyed that element of things. I'm also just enjoy the imagery of Kai sort of longing to go back to the sea and then going back to sea but on a boat. Entirely not what Kai had in mind. But yeah, that is where we're going to end. We will see you again next week, but if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We shall see you soon.